Good Wednesday morning, everyone, and welcome into today's daily Bible reading for January the 24th. Today we are reading together the 11th Psalm. Psalm number 11 is subtitled Refuge in the Lord. And then the description we have is for the choir director of David. As we read through this psalm, it's going to be very evident that this seems to have been written during some sort of immense trial that David faced within his life. We can think of quite a few of those that are recorded for us within Scripture, and then it's always very possible that they were things that David dealt with that are not recorded within Scripture that he faced throughout his time as king. During one of these events, it seems, whether recorded in Scripture, whether not recorded in Scripture, David took time to write this psalm to express the feelings and the emotions that he was dealing with during this time, to detail the temptation that was set before him, and then to reveal as well his resolution, what he decided he would do. There's a very important question that is posed within this psalm, but then there is a very strong answer that David gives to his own question directly following that. So we'll notice that as we read together here in the 11th Psalm. Hope that everybody's doing well today on this Wednesday. Very thankful that the cold stuff outside, it seems to be melting away, and will make it possible for us to gather tonight. Hopefully, it won't impact us too much as far as everything being a little too wet now. It seems we go from everything being too cold to now everything's going to be a little bit too wet, but that's okay. We're just really excited to be able to get together tonight after being away for more time than we would like to have been away from one another because of circumstances outside of our control. But as we're going to see within the psalm, even though we cannot control the circumstances themselves, what we can control is our attitude toward them. That we cannot allow for the circumstances to dictate how we think, but that regardless of the circumstances, we will always keep our trust where they need to be. And that's really what this psalm is all about. So let's read here in the 11th Psalm, Psalm number 11, beginning in verse number 1. I have taken refuge in Yahweh. How can you say to me, escape to the mountains like a bird? For look, the wicked string bows. They put their arrows on bowstrings to shoot from the shadows of the upright in heart. When the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? Well, here's David's answer. Yahweh is in his holy temple. Yahweh, his throne, is in heaven. His eyes watch, his gaze examines everyone. Yahweh examines the righteous, but he hates the wicked and those who love violence. Let him rain burning coals and sulfur on the wicked. Let a scorching wind be the portion in their cup. For Yahweh is righteous. He loves righteous deeds, and the upright will see his face. Psalm number 11. Again, different commentators and theologians, people who have put a lot of time into trying to understand Scripture, they differ on what they believe the context of this psalm to be, the exact situation that David might have faced. And maybe this wasn't a specific situation. Maybe David looked back on his life and considered as a whole all the different situations that he faced and recognized there were some commonalities in the situations, that whenever he faced a very real opponent, whenever he was truly oppressed in a real way, and others were saying to him, David, you just need to run. You just need to escape. Look at how the wicked are coming at you, how they have their bows strung up ready to shoot at you. You're upright. You don't deserve this, but they're still trying to kill you. David, it's like the foundations of the entire world are falling apart. What what are you going to do, David? What are you going to do when the very foundations of your world and your life, what are you going to do whenever it seems as if they're crumbling down all around you? David, here's the question. When the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? When the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? Now, the reality is that David has already answered this in verse number 1. And verse number 1 gives us the type of psalm that this is a psalm of confidence, because David comes in right from the get-go and he states, I have taken refuge in Yahweh. There is a strong, defiant trust that David is speaking to here in this psalm. That this is where I'm planting my flag. I don't care what you say. I don't care how poorly and how terribly you paint the situation. Yes, it does seem as if the very foundations of life are being destroyed and are crumbling before me. But here is something that never changes. Here is a reality that is constant no matter what, no matter whether there are firm foundations or destroyed foundations. Here's the truth. Yahweh is in his holy temple. Yahweh, his throne is in heaven. And here's the thing, his eyes watch, his gaze examines, he examines the righteous. What is David saying here? Well, he's saying, number one, God is above all, and he has authority over all. And finally, number three, he sees all. He sees the righteous. Think about that. Just the concept and the thought of being seen by God. That he knows what you're going through. He knows what you're facing, and he sees that. But then additionally, verse number 5, he hates the wicked and those who love violence. They are so antithetical to who God is that he cannot stand them, that he cannot bear them, that he cannot show any sort of condoning to them and their behavior. So David then feels the confidence again to be able to say to God, let him rain burning coals and sulfur on the wicked. Let the scorching wind be the portion in their cup. And of course, for us, the story that probably comes to mind first and foremost whenever we read about burning coals and sulfur falling on the wicked is Sodom and Gomorrah and the great extreme wickedness that was found within those cities. Let him rain burning coals and sulfur on the wicked. Let the scorching wind be the portion in their cup. It's very strong language. But again, David here has the confidence that God is going to do what is just. For Yahweh is righteous, and he loves righteous deeds. The upright will see his face, where he hates the wicked and hates those who love violence. On the other hand, he loves righteous deeds. He loves those who uphold righteousness and those who are upright, which is synonymous with righteousness. They will see his face because they have a relationship with him. Because God embraces them. Again, God sees them and he embraces them and he sustains them and he supports them. The upright will see his face. Why can David say, I have taken refuge in the Lord, and not be doubled over with fear by the statements of those who are discouraging him here in this psalm? Why is it that when they ask, when the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? Why does he turn immediately to God? Because again, he knows God is righteous. He knows God is just. And at the end of the day, whenever all the chips are out on the table, whenever God surveys and whenever God casts judgment, he knows that God will do what is right. He takes refuge in Yahweh. There is trust here. There again, as as a friend of mine says here, strong, defiant trust. Defiance in the face of opposition. Defiance in the face of struggle and trial. Whatever that might have been in David's life, whether it be one thing, whether it be a collection of everything, defiance in the face of that. Because he knows the one who is supporting him. He knows the one on on whom he really stands as his foundation, being Yahweh, that he will never be moved. And certainly there are strong principles for us to take away from this as well. Yeah, it might seem like the very foundations of the world are falling apart. I mean, look around us and just see, I mean, all sorts of unfortunate truths of our reality and our society, how some of the most simple and most basic things that we think are just duh are being denied now, or things that are just so false and so fake are being supported as true. I saw just a headline today of or yesterday, I guess it was, of a trans man. This would be a woman who has quote unquote transitioned to being a man, a female, quote unquote transitioned to be a male, who turned up pregnant. And people are just aghast to see men can get pregnant. What a lie that is. What an absolute falsehood that is. Sure, the woman can pretend to be a man. She might even cut off some of her female body parts. But that still doesn't change the reality that she's a female, made in the image of God, and her body is just simply doing the very thing that her body was designed to do, to produce and carry children. And yet we live in a society that wants to try to say that's what a man has done. That's so foolish. Surely we see the foundations around us crumbling. The question is, what can the righteous do? Well, the righteous can do exactly as David says here within the psalm. We can take refuge in Yahweh. If you have any questions or comments about Psalm 11, hope that you'll leave that in the comment section below. I appreciate you taking some time to read along with me on this Wednesday. Hope that you'll join me again on Friday as we read together in Psalm number 12, and hope I'll see you before then tonight for our Bible study at 7 o'clock. Really looking forward to seeing everybody then. Thanks again for tuning in today. Hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday. May God bless you in all that you do. And again, hope to see you on Friday, January the 26th, as we read together from Psalm number 12. Hope to see you then. Take care and God bless.